So, I'm sure you guys have probably saw this, but if you haven't already, right, you got these courses that you can buy. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh man, this is this is not good. And so, of course, you go eat at a table. Everybody jumps in, gets in on the banquet, and so then you got to go out and basically search for all these other banquets, get resources and loads of loot from, and so on and so forth, right? The thing that gets me is, okay, there's plenty of tables, so you can go around and you can get a lot of this extra loot each time you go to the tables. But once the tables run out, yeah, and then of course, like here, looks like I got some stuff, right? Oh, and an essence done. It's like, okay, cool. But one of the things that I think is worthy of everyone's attention is the fact that, like, the lantern event, when you run into this is one of the few times where, you'll consistently get around 10 to 20, maybe 40. And when you go into the bazaar, and here you have a choice of, a handful of different items. One of the things that I'm picking up is the designs and the guides. So I'm getting charm designs, I'm getting guides, and basically turning around and using those. And every once in a while, like, see there, I got like a 2x from time to time. You get lucky and you can turn around and get some of those charm designs. But if you want my 2 cents, I think that's what most people ought to be doing, is using that lantern event for their best, possible gains, right? Though, obviously, there's Brother in Arms. And as most people are probably aware, Brother in Arms usually involves conflict. And you go around, you can attack all sorts of different players, do your own thing. I'm of the opinion, so if you're going to go about, raiding and attacking other players, here are a few of the tips that I recommend you actually approach this with. One, don't go in alone. You can go around and hit like tiles, and you won't have any problem doing that. So, like, for example, if I was to just go poke around, go around the state, let's say if I go, I don't know, over here, for example, every once in a while you'll catch somebody that's going out gathering during Brother in Arms. And these are the people that you can officially, in most states that I've ever come across anyway, will turn the other way and say, oh, okay, yeah, sure. You can go ahead and knock it, and you're going to go ahead and get whatever resource gains that you want out of it. Now, that said, it's not a foolproof plan by any means, because, sometimes you'll run into a guy that will retaliate and wind up attacking your base. So, with that in mind, you don't want to kind of oversell yourself. That's why I recommend you kind of do this in groups, because when you go in groups, then if somebody does retaliate, you guys can rally and basically send the guy flying if he comes at you. And that's one of the advantages of working with numbers, in my opinion. But that said, there are quite a few packs that I thought I'd discuss too. As far as tips go, there's like Glacial Traveler, Ice Conqueror, there's Enhanced Gears. I mean, heck, there's Tech Research, Custom. Like, all of these packs, generally speaking, not good. Chests are okay. The Trove is, that's kind of a random assortment, but they're not bad. It's just when you get to the nitty gritty of what is bad, what is good, you always want to avoid getting anything or everything you get out of the weekly monthly cards tab, because that's usually bad. The other thing is, and I'll bring your guys' attention to this, because this is something else that I didn't know a lot of people knew about. There's a game called Kingshot, which is basically a reskinned version of Whiteout, but the only difference is you get a little king that you can run around with. Like, it's literally a reskin in almost every meaning of the word. Very much a very similar, almost, dare I say, identical version of Whiteout Survival, but it's got kind of a different flavor to it. So if you don't already know, just look up Kingshot and you'll see what I'm talking about. But I just thought it was kind of interesting that there's another flavor of this game now out there. And so for those of you out there that have been kind of like, I'm not really a big fan of this whole Whiteout thing, it's just like, it's weird that I got peasants that it constantly annoy and complain. Oh, and by the way, yes, they did keep that feature. It's just like little things like that that make you kind of go, okay. But in any case, I recommend checking it out because I did play it a little bit and I don't know what you guys think. Should I check out Kingshot and see if Kingshot's any good? I'm not really sure, but that said, I do kind of see some noticeable similarities between the games that maybe is worth taking a look into. That said, one of the other things, as far as tips go, right? If you're going to go around and invade and attack other players, there's also one little thing that I think kind of helps, which is that if you are going to go do it, always do it. If you're going to do it like in your guild, I think you're kind of crazy, right? But you can certainly do this and, like go guildless and go do something. And the one nice perk of that is if you do that and there is blowback, then if you change your name and do, a bunch of flip-flop, chances of somebody going back to you and going, oh, you're this schmuck that went and ruined my life, that's ever so slightly fades, right? Now, I won't say there is a perfect solution to being a jerk in alliance-wise. There are ways to do this without getting a whole ton of blowback, but I will say that if you are somebody out there that is interested in doing that kind of thing, I can tell you that there are ways to find you. That is to say that I have noticed that there have been a kind of an uptick in that with players pointing out that, you can't really just change your name because conveniently people will actually find you. But, like, for example, if you want to size up right out of the gate, you always want to check and make sure you've got your battle bonuses so you can get your skills, turn that all on. And then what I like to do a lot of the time is if I'm going to rally hit somebody, you don't want to get, like, terribly crazy here, but you don't want to, like, you don't really need a ton of lancers, normally, because you need to get through their infantry before you can really do any damage. And so for that reason, I usually bring up my infantry up, like, to 48 or something like that, do, 35-ish, and probably, like, right around that amount, like 49, 16, 35 is what I would run, and it works out to where you can basically go around and attack other players without really getting too terribly knocked down. The main thing is that, in events like Brother in Arms, it makes more sense to hit tiles than it does to go around and hit individual bases. Like, if you can avoid it, you're really probably better off just, like, hitting actual forts and such, rather than you are, like, hitting individual players. But in any case, I'm just curious what you guys think, like, how do you go about getting points? Do you go out and burn individual players, or do you actually go and hit tiles like most people, or, what's your approach? Because, right now I'm just I'm chilling like a villain. I don't really bother with it all that much. But in any case, that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.